So I wanted to post a quick response to Jonathan Cobb, who uploaded some reflections on Graham Harman's critique of Alfred North Whitehead's ontology. Harman is the expositor, the inventor of um, an ontological system that he calls object-oriented ontology. And when Harman looks at Whitehead's so-called process relational ontology, um, he argues that Whitehead is um, overmining, Harman's word, overmining individuals by, in some way, reducing them to their relations. Now, normally we talk about a different kind of reductionism. That is what Harman refers to as undermining, where one will look at an emergent whole, an organism, a living organism, say, and try to understand it by reducing it to its parts, to its cells, or to its molecules, or to its atoms, its genes, what have you. That would be, in Harman's lingo, to undermine an object. Overmining, what he's accusing Whitehead of, is the reverse sort of reductionism, where you reduce an entity, an individual, an emergent whole to its relations, to, you reduce an object to the larger sort of all-encompassing field within which it has emerged. And you say that what's finally real is not the individual, but that larger ocean of interaction. Harman wants to find some sort of a middle ground here that doesn't overmine or undermine objects, but lets objects be the fundamental components of his ontology. And I have, exchanged a few blog posts with Harman in the past about this issue, and I've argued, and I'll continue to argue here, that this is unfair, an unfair criticism of Whitehead. Whitehead, of course, defended a sort of atomism, an atomistic ontology, where process came in sort of discrete or granular dropules, where it's not that there's a continuity of becoming, and that the universe is just one continuous flow, where each of the what appear to us as individuals are really just whirlpools that emerge temporarily and then recede again. Their real being is to be part of this one underlying cosmic flow. This is something that has more in common with, like, Henri Bergson's ontology, an ontology of flow and continuity. And for Whitehead, he explicitly says that in his system there is not a continuity of becoming. There is not just one flow of time, cosmic time. Rather, there is a becoming of continuity. In other words, there are these actual occasions, the finally real things for Whitehead. What there are actual occasions in interlocking relationships, yes, but each of these actual occasions for Whitehead is in some sense a recapitulation of the whole, an interiorization of the whole, a becoming one of the many, such that he wants to preserve a withdrawn subjectivity or inwardness, a privacy. He even says, Whitehead says, he wants to preserve this individuality of each actual occasion, even while he also wants to say that every actual occasion is related to every other actual occasion in the universe. But I think Whitehead is striving for a middle way, just like Harman is. I've in my exchanges with Harman on our respective blogs, I've gone into more detail and given excerpts from some of Whitehead's writing in Process and Reality, and his other book, Modes of Thought, where he's quite explicit about this. So either I'm not either Harman's wrong, or I'm just not understanding the textual basis of his argument. I think certainly if you are a selective reader of Whitehead, there are moments when he seems more relational than he does atomistic. But if you read the totality of Whitehead's works, I think it's clear that he's trying to strike a balance here, because ultimately he wants to argue for a universe of continual novelty, of a universe where in each moment is radically new, where in each moment the many become one and are thereby increased by one, such that for him there's no simple holism. There's not just a sort of finished, completed cosmos. There is rather a cosmogenesis, an unfolding, open-ended process. It's an ended process, a process with an end, a telos, right? But it's open-ended in that purpose, that end, that goal is continually re-realized, recreated, reinvented in each moment, so that to speak of some sort of a unified cosmos, or a single object that includes all other objects, is, for Whitehead, that's an abstraction that it lacks concrete reality. Concrete reality is not simply locatable like that. Concrete reality is as pluralistic, as manifold as it is monistic, or unified. So in his video, I think Jonathan Cobb wanted to argue for a similar sort of middle path here. And the last thing I just want to say in response